where it's the taking the free Braxy challenge, and Braxy is kind of the nickname that's been given to the Flatwoods Monster. It was actually given by a game creator named Matthew Smith. He was designing a role-playing game with Flatwoods Monster in as a character in the game, and he had actually sent me an email and said, "Hey, is there a cute, name for the Flatwoods Monster like Nessie for Loch Ness Monster?" And I said no. And he said, "Do you care if I coin one?" I said, "No, go right ahead." So ever since he came up with it, I've been using it because I love it, and it's Braxy with two X's and an IE.
I saw that. I
But
included that in the video, and I think it's so clever.
yeah, so if you go and visit all the chairs, and then see me or several of the places that are nearby these chairs, if you visited them all and can like show us a picture of where you've taken of each one of them or taken a selfie or something like that, you can get your free Braxy sticker, which I know it's not a lot, it's just a sticker, but the only way you can get it is if you take the challenge. I've had a lot of people come in and see where I've got that sticker on my door and they like it and they just want to buy it, and I tell them, "I'm sorry, I can't sell it. There's only one way you can get it. Otherwise, I can. I got another sticker. I can sell you it, but I can't sell you this one. So if you want it, if you're a sticker collector, that's what you have to do."
I love that. That's a great, great idea.
Well, we figure people want something to do that has to do with the Flatwoods Monster, and it's fun. So
It is
you know,
fun.
it doesn't hurt anything.
Well, can you tell me a little bit about those magnificent lanterns that y'all have?
Yeah, I have plans. I don't know when I'm going to be able to get it done, but I actually have plans to make a short documentary about those lanterns because I love the story so much. I don't know if anybody else will care, but I love it. And the story with the or with the monster lanterns are those have actually been in production since the late 1960s, if you can believe it or not.
I did not realize
Um,
that.
there was a Yeah, and they've been in production the whole time. Now, the production has been slow up until relatively recently, but there was a civic group in the late 60s that lasted up through the 70s, maybe early 80s, but I'm not sure about that. I think it's maybe stopped in the 70s. And they were called the JCs, which stood for the Junior Chamber of
Mm-hmm.
Commerce.
Yes.
And they were younger business owners and business people in the area that got together and decided they wanted to do different, civic work for Braxton County. And one of their first projects was they wanted to help fund the first kindergarten program in Braxton County. So they needed to figure out a moneymaker. So what they ended up settling on was coming up with, a lantern made out of, fired clay that was in the shape of the Flatwoods Monster. So they contacted an artist, got one sculpted, and they've been actually manufactured in Marietta, Ohio, since the beginning, and they still are. So they had them made and sold them and raised money for this kindergarten program. And one of the members, John Gibson, somehow or another, after the group dissolved, he ended up retaining ownership of these molds and just sort of off and on, when he felt like it or when people asked him about it enough, he would get these things manufactured and he would sell them here or there, not really do a lot with it. And if you ask him, he'd break even if he was lucky. But since we've opened up the Flatwoods Monster Museum, according to him, we're his best customers, and he can't keep them in stock. So, now he's actually after 40, 50 years, he makes a little bit of money getting them made and selling them. But it's the oldest kind of novelty item that has anything to do with the Flatwoods Monster that was made in a time when really nobody in the area cared about the story that much, by a bunch of fairly forward-thinking people. It's actually kind of a miracle that they even exist. A minor miracle nonetheless, but it's just so strange that they even existed. And for the longest time, back maybe right before I started working for the Convention and Visitors Bureau or a little bit after. I just assumed they were long out of production until I met John Gibson. He's like, no, I still get those made. If you need some, I'll sell you some. So, that's the story. That's the story with those.
Well, they are really pretty. I think if I come up there, that would be my souvenir.
Okay, yeah, that
and
seems
my
to be
sticker,
a favorite.
because I would have to go through all the chairs too to see them personally.
There you go.
And probably a shirt.
There you go. We got those too.
I know you do.
Yeah.
But what was your favorite one?
Oh, my favorite one glows in the dark.
I saw that.
Yeah, that's always one where people go to buy it, and I'll say, yeah, that one there glows in the dark. And what? It does? Oh, that's so cool.
It is so cool.
Well, because the first time we printed one, actually, people kept assuming it glowed in the dark, and it didn't. So then I would tell people, okay, the next batch I get made, they will glow in the dark. So that's all I get made now.
Well, because Brexy glows in the dark.
Right, sure. It fits.
It does fit. Well, I know that you are an artist in many more ways, but how did you come actually to be working for the Convention and Visitors Bureau? Because were you that into the Flatwoods Monster story prior to going to work there?
No, I actually only kind of knew the story, and really, in all honesty, the Braxton County CVB, we don't really just do the monster. Our job is to market, all of Braxton County as a tourism destination, and like I said before, the Flatwoods Monster was just this thing that kind of kept being persistent to the point where it's like, okay, guys, if we don't give the people what they want, we're just stupid at this point. So like I said, it really wasn't even an intentional thing to get started in the first place. But actually, the way I came about being involved in the organization was kind of dumb luck. One of the board members, the former executive director before me was planning on leaving. And one of the board of directors was actively trying to find somebody to fill in to this spot before they left, so that way there wasn't a gap. And he knew my wife and knew that I was going to be moving from where I lived, which was actually just one county over, to move here to live with her and to marry her, because she was more established here than I was there. So it made more sense for me to come here. And so he knew I was going to be looking for a job pretty soon. So he said, hey, this is what we're looking for. This is what the job does. If it sounds like something Andrew would be interested in, tell him to give me a call and we'll set up an interview. And actually, funny enough, I actually moved from a job where I'd been working at a bank for about 2 years. And I had just helped that bank go through the process of changing all their software that they were using to do their banking, because it was like me and just a couple other people really knew how it worked. So even though I started my job there as like an almost nobody on the bottom of the totem pole, I quickly became kind of an invaluable resource and was actually trying to get on at a bank in Braxton County that was just about to do the same exact thing. So they thought this would be good to have somebody that just went through this. And long story short, I ended up not being able to get that job. So I really wasn't necessarily interested. I was actually holding out to work at a bank, but I liked the job, and I was fascinated by kind of what we do. So they offered me the job, so I took it, and it's been more than 6 years now, and I can't see hardly doing anything else, to be honest with you.
Isn't it funny how we make plans and the universe laughs?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, well, I can't imagine being working at a bank now. I would hate it.
Well, I did the corporate thing for quite some time. And since I left it, I really and truly have never looked back. Yep. It was the exact right thing for me to do at the exact right time. So recognizing that, is sometimes very difficult to do, especially when you're kind of single focused.
Oh yeah, and I'll tell you, whenever I learned that I didn't get the position at this bank, and I was actually they were going to make a position for me, so that's even more. It's one thing to fill a position; it's another one to get a place to make one for you. But when they got back to me and said they weren't going to do it, I was actually pretty devastated and was worried because I thought, great, I'm freshly married, I don't have a job. The thing that was going to be the sure thing fell through. What am I going to do? And then this amazing opportunity just fell in my lap.
Well, I've got to say that you have done a great job of bringing Braxton, West Virginia back to the forefront.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
The museum was brilliant. The getting the Flatwoods Monster story out there to be supported by the museum, to become supported by the trail.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'll
I know those chairs are at businesses.
Yes, yeah. We tried to put them so that they would contribute, to where the chairs would contribute to local businesses, and where the local business would contribute to our chairs. Kind of be a symbiotic relationship. So yeah, we tried to do the best we could to sort of put them at the highest sort of traffic points in various towns, and that sort of thing. Anytime you can create synergy is always good. But another thing I was going to tell you too is what's really helped the Flatwoods Monster come to the forefront and really dovetailed into our activities that we're doing is, right at the same time that we're really establishing our museum, we get, Small Town Monsters makes a great documentary about the Flatwoods Monster. And then right after that, we learned that, I don't know if you're familiar with it or not, but there's a video game, Fallout 76, that just came out that involved our monster as well as many other things that are in West Virginia. There's a mobile game that you can play on like your iPhone called Ghostbusters World that was made by the Ghostbusters franchise, where you catch ghosts, and one of the ghosts is called the Flatwoods Monster, and it's made in the Flatwoods Monster's image. There's a TV show actually this Tuesday on the History Channel. There's Project Blue Book. This will be their second episode, and the episode that's coming up this Tuesday deals with the Flatwoods Monster.
I didn't realize that was this Tuesday.
Yep. That one is this day. I just became aware of it just a couple days ago. I knew it was going to be in the series, but I didn't know when or how. So the premiere was last Tuesday, and the second episode will be this coming up Tuesday, and that'll be a Flatwoods Monster. So there's just been all these things all culminating all at once that just really feels natural and again just symbiotic and great.
Well, we are up against our final break. This is going to be 2 minutes, and I am having the best time. I'm going to be bent about coming to the end of this. It's been way too much fun. But we'll be right back. Y'all enjoy. This is Iron Horse. And again, Purple Planet Music, who has been fantastic for us. So enjoy.